Testing. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hi guys, it's Mrs. Heidemann. I want to give you some tips on how to make a good PowerPoint presentation design. So I'm going to try and go through this quickly so I can keep this video short. So on the screen here you will see there are two things that we need to consider when making a PowerPoint: simplicity and readability. So if you first glance at this slide right here is, whoa, I do not want to read this. I don't want to read all of it. Even though it's really good information and put up there in nice sentences and so forth, it's too much for a PowerPoint. Your PowerPoint is kind of just brief notes, kind of an outline for you when you are presenting it to your audience. So we want to avoid this information overload. So don't feel like you have to write paragraphs and paragraphs of stuff on your PowerPoint to get your point across. So information overload we want to avoid. What we want is this: simple, to the point, short sentences or phrases, and also using bullet points, which you see right here, 1 and 2. This is more pleasing for the audience's eye. They can quickly read it while they're listening to you. So think of these as little notes for you while you're presenting it to your audience. This just kind of reminds you what you want to talk about. So when you're presenting to your audience, you don't just read this right off the screen. You can, but you also want to add to it, okay? Because these are just kind of quick notes to get your mind thinking about the topic that you're wanting to talk about to your audience. And also this information that you put in, it's kind of the main highlight of the stuff you want them to remember about your topic. So simplicity, avoid information overload. So here's some quick maybe guidelines that you could go by. Up at the top you'll see it says less is more. Okay, you may have heard this expression, less is more. A couple guidelines. One, keep words at a minimum. If you think of a 6x6 guideline, that means 6 points per slide, so 6 bullets per slide, no more. It doesn't mean you have to have 6, just no more than 6. You could just have 2. You could just have 3. But no more than 6. And then they also maybe suggest having 6 words per point, meaning no more than 6 words per point. And I know sometimes you might have a sentence that's just a little longer than 6, and that's fine. This is just kind of a general rule to stay close to. So no more than 6 bullets per slide, and no more than, and somewhere roughly around 6-ish words per bullet point. The second thing, keep font styles simple. So they say 2 max per page. So the font styles, maybe throughout your whole presentation, keep your titles of each slide the same font. And then all of the information, the writing, and the bullets could be another font. No more than 2 different types of font styles on one page. And probably in a whole PowerPoint, probably just stick to 2 font styles. You want things to be in uniform. So like I said, all your titles could be one font style, and all of your information can be another font style. Or everything can just be the same font style. Last thing here, white space is your friend. It is okay to have a little white space. Don't feel like you have to fill every single little spot on each slide. But also, you don't want to leave an incredible amount white. So, so it's just kind of using your best judgment. Don't overflow it, but don't barely put anything. So, all right, simplicity, some tricks. These animations that you see are really cool. But the general rule is, see, I don't even know if you're still listening to me because it's so fun just to watch these animations. So the general rule is to minimize your fancy transitions, your animations, so that you don't distract your audience the way I might be distracting you right now. Um, so so just using them to a minimum. You can certainly use them, but again, maybe just your titles, or maybe just a phrase that you really want to stick out. That could be in the animation. Maybe not the whole sentence, but just a phrase in the sentence. So just minimize your animations so they don't distract your audience. All right, I said the second thing for PowerPoints, we have simplicity, which we just went over, and readability. So you're going to think about your audience being able to read your PowerPoint when it is up on the board and you're presenting it to them. So first here it says, nothing should be placed on a page randomly. Okay, you know what that means, just don't place it randomly. It needs to have some sort of order, which we'll see on the next slide. Every element should have some visual connection, that means a picture, with another element on the page. So very smart to have some information and then have a picture. But make sure that that picture connects to your information. You don't want just any random picture. It needs to connect. And the last thing here on this slide, creates a clean, fresh, sophisticated look. So you just want your PowerPoint to be really clean and easy to read. So let's move on to some more tips about how to make it easy to read. This would be what we call alignment. So things just lining up. You will see these lines right here. These aren't to be on the PowerPoint. It's just showing you how the words line up to the top of the picture. Shows you how the bullets here line up straight. The words line up straight. And this is just very neat. You have your words, you have your picture over here. It's very easy to read. You know to read this first, and then this picture connects to whatever these words would be saying. All right. Some other tips on readability. Group similar items together, similar to paragraphing and writing. So when you go to make your PowerPoint, your title cannot just be a question and then your information just be the answer. You're going to group your information into different categories, and I'll show you some samples here in just a second. This second one is helps readers organize information. So by aligning all of the words and the pictures, it just helps the readers organize the information in their head while they're reading it. Everything connects. The third thing, using bullets and templates to achieve proximity in a design. This just means just use your tools that you have. Bullets, and PowerPoint has different layouts of where you can put your title and your words and your pictures. So certainly use those tools to your advantage. The next thing for readability, we're almost done here with this. Type size. So make sure your fonts are legible, meaning readable. So don't do some sort of crazy cursive that's really hard to read. Make sure your fonts are large enough. So as you can see, these fonts are large enough that you can read easily. The second thing is we call this the floor test. You want to be able to imagine sitting at our keyboard rug in the computer lab and looking up at the screen on the wall, you want to be able to see it. Or imagine the people in the back row, in the blue row, having to look at the projector screen. You want them to be able to see your PowerPoint. So this is the floor test. Can you read your PowerPoint up on the screen from the back row or from the floor? So is your font size big enough? This third one, preview your presentation in the classroom. So always review it. Always go through it when you think you're done. Checking for grammar, spelling. Does it look clean? Is it easy to read for people? So always previewing your presentation before you ever say that you are complete with it. And the last thing here, should be able to read the slides from the back of the room. So we already talked about that. Okay. Readability. Eyes move from top to bottom, left to right. It's just like reading a book. You want your information you want them to be able to start reading at the top and go all the way down to the bottom, and you want them to read from left to right. So just putting your information in order. And all of this creates unity and consistency. Here, just a few examples, just so you can see them. Here's a sample of someone's presentation from a few years back. You see the title here, Why Sinkholes Open. And then this person has a couple facts about why sinkholes open. Can we forecast a sinkhole? And then some facts about it in bullet form and a picture to match what they're talking about. Sinkholes in Kansas. So this is just a generic category. Sinkholes in Kansas. And then tells some facts about sinkholes in Kansas. And then just sinkholes in general. Sinkhole facts. Fun facts. Okay. And a works cited. Here's another example.
May I have
and
just want to remind you at 7:30 we will have an all-staff.
Here we go. So again, you just see the titles. You see a fact with a bullet, and you see a picture that matches the fact. And you can see the titles are not a one answer question. How are they caused? So there's several ways these are caused. Okay, so your titles are categories. They're not just a simple just question and one answer. What are the best ways to survive? And they list a bunch of different ways to survive. There's not just one answer. Okay? So, and then our last sample here is earthquakes. And, Kansas earthquakes. Facts about that. What are earthquakes? It's always good to inform your audience what it is that you're talking about. You did the research and you know what you're talking about, but does your audience? And you need to help them understand what it is that you are talking about. How do they happen? What can earthquakes cause? And we're excited. So those are just some examples for you. And so I just want you to remember our two tips that we talked about today, simplicity and readability. So have fun making your PowerPoint, and again, just make it for your audience. And that's it, guys. So, all right. That was about 14 minutes. Sorry about that. And go make your PowerPoint.